Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to my shop. Welcome to my channel. My name is Keith and I'm your host. Before we get started, class, how about the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Peace! Peace! Amen.
Okay, we got some power here. We got to change direction. And we got to increase the speed a little bit here. Okay, that may be close enough. I had stuck it inside the bore and then went out until I was barely skipping. I was barely skipping on the bottom edge here. We're going to let it run right there and go on through. Give it a test run of it just barely touching there. We're feeding it about ½ inch a minute. It's a little bit over 2-inch bore. So it'll take a couple, 3 minutes here. We're hitting kind of top and bottom. That's a pretty good judgment on first cut there. Pretty good on the bottom, but we are skipping that whole diameter around. Equal side to side. Almost equally all the way around right now. Okay, that's all the way through. Take the vacuum, clean it out, and let's take a look at it. From this outside, you can see that there's just a little bit at the leading edge on that side there and that side there. The rest of it's looking pretty clean. All right, we're going to put our indicator on here and adjust the head. We're going to take, I don't know, probably another 10 or 15 thousandths per side. And then if there's any other holiday still left after that, we'll take the rotary burr and we'll hit just those areas. We don't want to remove a ton of material out of there. We just want to make sure that we have a good amount of material in there that's all clean, which is from this side to that side. Okay, a little tiny bit there, a little tiny bit there, and I think we're going to hit those with the rotary burr. I think we're going to be good because this wall thickness right here, we don't want to reduce that any more than we have to. We just want all that clean material. Now we're going to go ahead and take a rotary burr and we're going to clean up this right in here because we're going to fill this in and then re-drill and tap that. Okay, I think we're pretty well set, ready to go. We took 2 boards here and screwed 2 2x4s to those so that we can rotate this. We were thinking about putting it in a wall positioner, but we're working on this bore and we may want to get to it from this side. We may want to get to it from the other side. And this is the perfect height to actually be staring into it. And we wanted to be able to move this with our face shield down and not worry about this thing falling on the floor, falling over, or breaking. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to preheat it. We're using number 2 brazing flux, and our rod is general purpose low fuming brazing rod. Everybody asks every time I do a brazing job, and it's always the same. That's my go-to brazing rod when I'm brazing with the torch. And I use my face shield here so I don't have glasses going over. I use my everyday glasses are my safety glasses, but I need to protect myself so that I can actually see in there without getting dots in my eyes. So, all right, and our tank project behind here is just a backdrop, kind of floating between the 2 jobs, but this job here is important to get this out. I haven't fired up the torch in a couple days, so the tip's a nice shape. We have a heat blanket over here for when we're done. We'll drape it over it, and we're going to retard the cooling on it a little bit afterward. This heat is not going to go out to this wood or damage the wood at all. I'm kind of checking that out. I'm right-handed, so I'm probably going to go around the bore this way, which means I'll be rotating it that way. It moves easier when you're lifting up on it. I can lift up on that side as well. We'll see how it goes. I was thinking about filling in this hole before I go for the bore. We're going to build a little boss on the top of this. I like that. Okay. I want to seal that up on the inside. All right, it's filled up. Now we're going to work the bore. Okay, just making sure I have enough lead to go both sides. This is what I thought I was going to need. Just in case I dribble anything, that way it won't sit on the inside of the wheel. I did one little drop on the inside, and we'll just be shifting that back and forth. Okay, we're just coming into the valley on the bottom where we've gone all the way around. So we're just barely trying to put a little fill in right at the bottom edge without melting too much of the two sides there. Meaning we don't want it to run all to one spot there. We're trying to hold it on the sides, add in what we need to in the bottom here, so we keep a uniform thickness of our braze buildup inside there. And then we're going to roll it around and kind of look for any shallows. And then go ahead and fill those in. Now there's pretty much enough flux in there to where and as long as we run it from both sides, we can keep it right in the middle there. I like that. Okay, I like that. We're just going to drape this over this right now. I think we'll put it like 50-50 here. All right. Just keep the draft off of it. We're going to let that cool down. Okay, we finished brazing the wheel, and we got it in on the K&T again. to do the finished bore, but we wanted to go ahead and do the brazing while we have our torch and rod all out here on the trunnion caps and supports here. Now I put them in the cabinet and I sandblasted them, and we had a crack that went into this ear here and a crack across this ear here. This one goes to this one goes to this one here. I can see their stamp marks on there, so we're just going to keep them off to each side here. We're going to take our whizzy wheel here and rotary burr the inside here, and we're going to kind of knock the radius. We're going to knock a few edges off of here, so we're going to fill this thing up with braze, and we're going to coat the tops of this with braze, and we're going to completely braze the crack, and we're going to braze all the surfaces so that the bores and the two mating surfaces are going to be pretty well done. We're not going to worry too much about getting on the ear and then resurfacing the outside. We're pretty happy with how these fit in. All right, so it's just the height and the diameter of the bore that we need to fill in. So I'm going to do a quick burr here, and then we'll get to brazing. So here we go. We're going to go ahead and do this one here first. We always generally warm the whole casting. Try not to focus too much heat on it all at once. That's usually why TIG welding or TIG brazing doesn't work on cast, because it brings it to a molten state before the rest of it gets hard. And then when it does become molten, it changes it changes its internal composition of metal and crystallizes it, makes it brittle and very, very hard like glass. We put the flangers down and put a bolt in them on the table so they won't accidentally fall over. Okay, we're zeroed in. We went side to side and measured the tool bit to our old the cast diameter, which allowed us to get it pretty damn close. And we're located exactly in the same height. We haven't moved the machine at all, so all we had to do was shift it side to side. We think we have it in small enough to pass through there, so we're going to give it a shot here. And I'm just going to feed it a little bit by hand until I know that we're doing okay. I think that'll handle it. I'm going to go ahead and shift it into auto here. Got one area there, looks like it's almost 100 thousandths on the depth, but it's lightly skipping into several others all the way around the bore, so nice. Okay, we made a pass all the way through. We're going to set up our indicator. This is how we adjust the amount we want to take per cut. And we're going to go ahead and take 25 aside. All right, 25 aside, and we're skipping pretty much all the way around. We should be able to reach in there somehow and get a diameter and figure out how much more we got to go before we get to size. It looks like we have a lot of material in there. And 1 inch 920 or so is what that diameter out there measures, and we're at 1 inch 725. We're sitting fat. I know we have enough material in there to make a nice good round bore. All right, we'll set it up and we'll take another cut. I'm taking about 70 thousandths off of that face there so that it'll be flush with the shaft. That's about 40 right there. There's 50. Okay, we're gonna take and make that 60 is our depth. All right, now I'm gonna scoot the bit out some more. Now you can see how uniform my braze buildup, just like a sleeve in there. That's how much difference just skimming that round and taking the dirt out of this. So looking pretty good. All right, we're gonna jack this out a little bit. Actually, you know what, we could feed it out and not have any more stick out than we need to. We may have to stick it out some more just to make the end, but there we go. All right, here's our second pass. Okay, this little bit out here, I'm gonna take and sand that. But this here, that's all looking good. Okay, I gotta pull it out to sand this around here, but I can leave this in here and take my emery paper here. And we're just gonna give it a quick go through in here. And we're gonna pull it out and let it bell mouth on this mouth out here. Okay, that's nice and round now. I like that. All right, while it's in the machine here, we can take and sand the top of this. We're going to measure back what we got as far as a spot on the shaft where our dimple is. We're going to center punch and we're going to drill and tap that while it's in the machine right here. And then we'll modify that dimple in there with the rotary burr to make it compensate, because we can't get a drill rig and everything else in here. This is all a pistol drill type operation right here. Alright, we're going to take a rotary burr and we're going to kind of roll that around like it was a casted nub sticking up. Won't need too much work to it, and we might even just kind of leave it like that, but it does have a flat right there. Alright, we're going to measure back and we're going to drill and tap that. Alright, that other one was in quite a ways from where we feel that it was supposed to be. So, we're going to put it in as close as we can, but the other one was like almost to the edge of this boss right here, and we should be able to go in there with the rotary burr and make a really nice dimple on the shaft at that location. All right, this is 7/16 14 we're going to drill and tap this out at. All right, this is a drill U. I got flats ground on the tip of this, so it shouldn't grab. It's not grabbing right now. Alright, that's on 2. Put it on 1 here. Alright, we're starting to get into a little cast, so we are in slightly new area there. Not bad, just slightly more off to the side to side. What's up with my battery? Oh, it's dead. Okay. All right, brand new 7/16 tap. Awesome. Okay, now we're going to be putting this on the shaft, and then we're going to put the bolt in that holds it to the yoke. Then we'll be able to transfer punch or mark down from here and put the dimple in on the shaft. All right, there's a little raised burr there. I'm going to run my flapper wheel in there one last time. All right, we are ready to take it out, and we're going to go sand this off, and we'll go slip it onto the shaft and take a look at it. Okay, we just sanded that face right there, and let's go ahead. Oh, I like that. Okay. Hey, that looks pretty good. I think. Let me see where my stud material is. See if that screws right in there. See if we might have to adjust this hole or not. Okay, just a little bit, but where it has more material, it's got more lift, it's moving the hole somewhat in there closer. All right, now, yep, and this is still proud, but it's a lot closer than it was, and we'll be able to take a rotary burr. We'll mark that hole in there, and we'll do a new dimple in there. Nice. Gonna be happy with that. All right, this is just, the hole here is just about, just slightly above. Tiny bit more. Not bad, not bad. All right, and there's about a wash of surface behind here. So I'm going to be planning out what we want to do with that. I'm going to figure out what that is exactly as far as the thickness, and then, or we might braze up on the surface this way so it sits flat and is able to tighten right on there. Awesome. And then we dimple that to suit.